You are listening to Cheeky Bloody Articles, written by Cathleen Davies, narrated by R.J. Burns, published by Four Horsemen Publishing Incorporated. Copyright Kathleen Davies, 2022. All rights reserved. Acknowledgements. Thank you to the Four Horsemen team for seeing the potential in my stories and for allowing me to keep everything as English as possible. Thank you to Mum and Dad for putting up with me since birth. Thank you to all my friends who've bought the book, read the stories, helped me edit, workshopped with me, and eased my mad imposter syndrome. There are too many of you to name, and I love you all, but especially Thomas, Emma, and Ratty, who've dealt with my nonsense the most consistently and for the longest. Versions of some of these stories have appeared in Another North, Severine, Muswell Press's Queer Life, Queer Love, Storgy, Dostoevsky Wannabes, Love Bites, Miracle Monocle, Time to Tell, Please See Me, and the main review. I want to thank these publishers for giving me the opportunity to share my work during the early stages. Thank you to UEA and the University of Birmingham for helping me feel like a proper writer even when I wasn't one. Thank you most of all to Fliss the cat. Dedication to Nephew Max, a storyteller, and Nephew Noah, a rascal. 3 Stitches. It had been a pleasant funeral, if such a thing existed. There were no raucous outbursts of weeping, no children asking inappropriate questions, and no mourners draping their bodies over caskets. It was the right time for Nanny to let go of life. The soil would have a better use for her than the staff at St. George's Hospice, where she'd spent the remainder of her days, moaning about the food, refusing to cooperate with medication, and pretending it was a disappointment whenever my mother came to see her. "Oh, it's you," she'd say, with undisguised scorn. My mother was the only one who ever visited her, and for the life of me I couldn't understand why she kept doing it. In my grandmother's penultimate resting place, the fuzzy brown carpet clashed with the smell of antiseptic and the clatter of walking aids. Nanny either genuinely couldn't remember who I was, or else didn't want to. My mother thought it was because of my tattoos. "You could at least have covered your arms," she'd muttered through the rolled-down window when I pulled up in the car park. It was the first time I'd seen my mother in years. I wondered how, before speaking, I could manage to do something wrong. We'd waited with Nanny all day. We held her hand, whispered words of encouragement, asked her if she was comfortable enough. She didn't really make a lot of noise, only whimpered and complained of the cold. Any time we added extra blankets to her deathbed, she immediately threw them off and proclaimed we were trying to suffocate her. Eventually we just stopped trying. A carer conceded that we weren't really helping, and that it might be best to leave her to rest, since her death could come tonight, tomorrow, or 3 months from now. I hoped she wouldn't die too soon. That way I could show my face at the home the next morning, and then make a speedy escape in the afternoon. I wasn't to be so lucky. By the time we'd arrived back at my mother's house, the phone was already ringing with the news. She'd passed away. It was time to make arrangements. I was sleeping on the sofa. My mother had downsized after I left home, exchanging the 2 up, 2 down for a bungalow in one of those odd little cul-de-sacs intended for OAPs. She'd kept all the old furniture, and it looked madly cluttered in such a small space. The coffee table, whose sharp corner had once gouged the scar by my left eye, was still planted in front of the sofa so that she could rest her tired feet. After that accident I was given 3 stitches, the scar ugly enough to embarrass me still. I was lucky, though. It could have been worse. Any further to the right and I could have gone blind in one eye. I pushed the table further away from the sofa, insisting on getting it as far away from me as possible. In the morning, my mother went spare because I might have scratched the hardwood flooring. After the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?